So when we look at those images, we saw for traditionalists that there was a lot of chaos in their life. There was the Great Depression, financial ruin, wars, First World War, Second World War. And so as a result of living through these experiences, they said, you know what we need in the world? We need structure, peace, stability, and rules. And so that's what they set up. They set up institutions that were designed to create peace around the world. When we think of the UN and the EU, they created social welfare institutions that guaranteed our universal health care, that guaranteed that no Canadian would fall below a certain level. Their goal is to build a legacy. So when you think about if you were raised by traditionalists like I was, they save and save and save. They reduced, reused, and recycled long before it was trendy. How many of you still wash out Ziploc bags, right? You save your tin foil. I have good bags and bad bags. I don't know why, but that's how I was raised. So they want to build that legacy in their family, and they want to build that legacy in the organizations as well. They want to work on projects, and they're emotionally connected. They want to work on projects where they know that they'll leave something behind for the next generation of leaders in their organization. You have your baby boomers. We saw from the videos that they wanted to rebel against those structures that the traditionalists had set up. It's only natural. They thought, many of them were the children of traditionalists. They thought that which was set up was wrong. So they were fighting the man. They marched and they protested. They fought the man. And then they entered into the workplace. And who was running the show? The man. And the man said, oh, that's so cute. You want to be all rebellious, baby boomer. If you don't want to do it the way I want you to do it, there are 10 of you out there who can and will. So as a result, baby boomers had to mellow. And they had to work really hard and become very competitive in order to put their stamp on things. Their goal is to put their stamp on things. They're constantly looking to add value in an organization. Remember that phrase, how are you adding value? When I was asked, I said, I guess I'm not, I'll go home. Right? But baby boomers have to put their stamp on things. And then you have your Gen Xers. Well, there's one significant factor that shaped their professional identity, and that was corporate downsizer. Now, many Gen Xers weren't downsized. They were too young. They were in high school or maybe just coming out of university. But they witnessed the emotional and the financial toll it took on their baby boomer and their traditionalist parents, relatives, aunts and uncles, friends of the family. And they said, that is never going to happen to me. That is never going to happen to me. So how do they prevent it from happening? She asked the audience. What do? Well, they remain independent. They're constantly focused on learning and growing and developing, gaining marketable skills. What can I put on my resume? Because as long as I am marketable, I can maintain that independence. Should you ask me to leave, or should I choose to leave? And your Gen Ys, fascinating generation, and are really shaped by two factors that have a similar theme. Both at what's happening at home and what's happening in school is about raising self-esteem, creating confidence and optimism. We serve on a provincial partnership council funded by the Ministry of Education. A representative from the ministry came and said, our pedagogy needs to be based on the fact that kids these days don't have enough self-esteem. Well, my business partner and I did a little inside eyebrow raise across the boardroom table, and we said, wow, a lot of the employers we work with think they have just a titch too much self-esteem. So, well, what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen, in the school system? That means you cannot fail. You cannot fail. When you're assigned something and it's not done well, what do you get to do? Well, you get to do a do-over. This comes into your workplace. Your leaders say, well, that wasn't a very good assignment or a very good completion of a task. Well, no biggie, I'll just do it over. When they're assigned something in high school in September and don't hand it in until December, the most that can be taken off is 10% in this province. And this goes across the country, frankly, and into the states as well. So what do you think happens when it comes into the workplace, when they come into the workplace? You assign something and they say, oh, you wanted it this Tuesday. Right, okay. So when we were just in Calgary, somebody gave this example as well. He said, at my school, my 8-year-old son is at school, and they don't use the word loser anymore because it's negative. It hurts people's feelings. We say winner and non-winner. So, right? So in the school system, we're raising this self-esteem. In and of itself, not a bad thing. At home, many baby boomer parents are doing the same thing. They're the parents of these children, of Gen Y children. And they said, I don't want to raise my kids the way I was raised by traditionalists. I don't want to be command and control. I don't want to be hierarchical. I want my children's voices to be heard. So we solicit, we listen to, and we act upon their opinions when they're this big. When it comes time for supper, we say, what would you like for supper? And if you don't want what the family wants, that's okay. We'll make you something special, because you are special. When it's time for vacation, we say, okay, where do you want to go? Disneyland, a cruise, grandma and grandpa's. What do you think I heard when it was time for vacation? Get in the car. Get in the car. And I grew up in Thunder Bay. So wherever we went, it was really far, right? So in and of itself, again, not a bad thing, not a bad way to raise children. But what do you think happens when they come and work with you? They expect their opinions to be solicited, listened to, and acted upon on day one.